And in our top business story, Du has announced its third quarter results showing a 2.9% rise in revenue to 3.14 billion dirhams, while net profit before royalty rose 2.4% to 995.1 million dirhams. Some of the financial highlights include year-to-date revenue up by 1.1% compared to the 9 months to 30th September 2015. EBITDA was steady at 1.38 billion dirhams versus Q3 2015, 1.38 billion dirhams, and up 2.6% year-to-date. For Q3, mobile revenue totaled 2.22 billion dirhams, a 2.7% increase on 2015. Mobile data revenue was largely flat at 737.3 million dirhams versus 2015, while fixed revenue increased 3.7% to 681.1 million dirhams. Mobile data now represents 33% of mobile service revenues compared to 2015 at 32.9%. Osman Sultan, Du's chief executive officer, stated on the occasion that our consistent focus on improving the entire customer experience while providing the right mix of products and services to the market has resulted in a steady performance during the quarter. A 10.9% increase in postpaid mobile customers during the quarter shows our commitment to quality growth remains intact. He added that as demand for digital services and data continues to grow significantly, the challenge for the entire telecommunications industry is finding ways to better monetize this structural shift. Visitors to Dubai are by far the biggest spenders among tourists to international cities including London, New York, Tokyo, and Paris, according to new research by Civils. According to the 12 cities report, travelers to the Emirates spend almost twice the average of the 12 cities surveyed. Officials stated that the overseas visitors who had an overnight stay in the Emirates spent an estimated $4.7 billion in restaurants and cafes in Dubai last year, while spending on retail hit $9.7 billion. The Emirate also topped the list of overnight visitors from outside the host countries, with 15.2 million last year, ahead of Singapore at 12.1 million. It was also revealed that visitors add an average of 3% to a city's population every night, and that about 901 million domestic and overseas visitors were attracted to the cities examined during 2015, spending a total of 1.05 billion nights in hotels or other accommodation. Average accommodation costs per stay range from $173 per person in Shanghai to $553 in Dubai. Officials added that across 9 top global cities, including Dubai, New York, London, and Paris, annual food and beverage spent by international visitors totals at least $21 billion a year, and shopping accounts for $38 billion. Experts in the retail industry launched a first-of-its-kind GCC Mall Development update today, revealing exclusive details about UAE residents' favorite malls, while also offering strategies to attract leading international retailers in the UAE. While stating that a lack of accurate information about the likes of preferences of people visiting various malls in the GCC region can have an impact on their businesses, leading experts in the retail industry revealed that according to their GCC Mall mapping study, nearly 35 to 55% of UAE residents indicate that the presence of good entertainment facilities, restaurants, and hypermarkets in malls are key in attracting visits. Among other major mall drivers for families in the UAE were choice of brands, unique stores, and kids' entertainment facilities. While cinemas and entertainment attracted more UAE nationals, the presence of supermarkets in malls was a key pulling factor for Asian customers, according to the study. One other topic discussed during the second and final day of the Recon Middle East and North Africa conference was how the presence of defibrillating devices in shopping centers can help heart attack patients in an instant. as around 5,000 people die from sudden cardiac arrest in the UAE every year. Officials highlighted that there needs to have more of these devices across the malls in the country.
Automated defibrillators are a very simple machine that analyzes the cardiac rhythm and knows whether a patient needs to be shocked in case of cardiac arrest. And it's key because in the UAE, there are roughly 5,000 people dying every year from cardiac arrests. I would say that we need to have defibrillators everywhere so that people are never far from more than 3 minutes from a defibrillator. So, of course, shopping centers and malls are key in Dubai and the UAE, with like Dubai Mall, like 80 million people a year visiting the mall. Of course, it's the kind of place which needs to have a lot of defibrillators available to anyone. And the more important is that they need to be very visible so that anyone knows where they are.
We actually started this year thinking there is really an acute lack of data in this market, in the GCC, a lack of third-party data, governmental data, things that help you benchmark your own activity. So based on this, we went ahead and developed a study on malls in the UAE and Saudi, whereby we interviewed 2,000 people to understand the visitation patterns behind malls, to understand how malls compare to each other. Some, and I won't cite some of them, are very well known, and you find that for brands, for businesses, you feel that beyond those malls there's nothing, but there is. And each city is different. We realized, for example, that people travel quite a bit in between Dubai and Abu Dhabi. They don't stay where they are, whereas in Riyadh, people stay very much focused into their resident areas, giving, some really specific, patterns into each of those populations. In Saudi, the reasons are kind of very clear. On the one hand, for the mall to succeed, you need restaurants and you need to have the right brand assortment. In the UAE, the reasons are much more diluted, and that's probably because we're in a market where there's so much that people see less differentiation. But it is about entertainment, restaurant, also having an anchor super and hypermarket. Why? Because in the UAE we have different nationalities, and so some nationalities will be very driven towards entertainment and restaurant, whereas others will be completely driven to the practicality of mall, which is supermarket, and others again will be more driven into brand assortment, and that makes it a quite complex environment to try to understand.
Talking about how a GCC-wide value-added tax expected to be implemented in 2018 will have limited impact on retail sales in short term, while also improving the accuracy of reporting leases, officials stated that the UAE and the region is well placed to withstand challenges, including the low oil price environment, which is having an impact on small businesses in the region.
VAT is not new, so there's lessons that can be learned from other countries where they have introduced VAT. And firstly, 5% is not a huge amount. Secondly, we expect some level of regulation to stop price hikes. But I think perhaps the important lesson from overseas is that yes, it might have the effect of bringing forward spending as some people try to avoid the perceived price increase, particularly on large ticket items, and that exacerbates a fall once it has come in. But the reality is that on a long-term basis, it actually quickly recovers. So I think VAT in itself is not a huge issue going forward for the UAE. So the world's had high and low oil prices before. They've had other shocks to the retail market over time. I think the important thing to remember is that the retail market here is no different to anywhere else, is that the decisions made about shopping centres are large in scale and they extend well beyond short-term property or economic cycles.
A new investment firm consisting of leading international business figures has been launched to build sustainable industry-defining companies in higher growth sectors in the GCC and India. Foundation Holdings, a strategic global investment firm, has been created to enhance operational value for companies and IPOs in the healthcare, education, and consumer sectors. The firm aims to deploy 2 billion dirhams in these sectors over the next 5 years. Heading the newly created firm will be founder and chief executive officer Abhishek Sharma, who helped to lead IPOs of Amanat Holdings, listed at 2.5 billion dirhams, and Al Noor Hospitals, voted Best IPO Transaction in the MENA region in 2013 on the Dubai Financial Market and London Stock Exchange, respectively. According to the founder, the GCC and India are compelling markets for companies in these sectors, with exponential growth above par with the likes of the United States and Europe. Over 100 merger and acquisition transactions valued at $27 billion recently took place in these sectors in the GCC and India alone. Combined, the GCC and Indian markets offer a $4 trillion ecosystem, providing tremendous investment opportunities. He added that these are the largest and fastest growing sectors in the region, and we're entering a golden age.
We want to partner with businesses which have huge potential in low-risk industries but require the best-in-class management teams. So that's a key facet for us. We would like to partner with businesses which require innovation to leapfrog competition. And thirdly, of course, we would like to leverage the exponential spending power of today's youth. I think our region and India also is at a very exciting time. Starting from India with the new leadership of Prime Minister Modi, there's been a lot of seeds which have been planted for strong reform, and one can really sense the optimism on the ground in India. Similarly, the GCC India corridor is a corridor which one can't miss. The bridge between the GCC India has always been strong, but now formally with the support of Abu Dhabi, with Saudi Arabia and the Indian government, it's an exciting time where we're talking about a $4 trillion GDP. And I think for us, the number one rule we focus, whether it's on the foundation level or our partner companies, comes back to the people aspect of the region. I've been fortunate with my journey to learn from some of the best, and I believe it's our responsibility to invest in the youth of today. You have to empower your people, you have to lead them with clarity, and with the younger people, one has to give them the opportunity to thrive and succeed, and only then will foundation succeed.